there. Hello, welcome to our health shop. Tonight we're going to be talking about strong heart and how that relates to the spine, nutrition, and emotions. So Dr. Mark, he's going to take care of the nutrition part as a strong heart as it pertains to the nutrition. Dr. Chip's going to take the physical when the strong heart pertains to the spine. And I'll be taking over for the strong heart as it pertains to the emotions. Up first is Dr. Mark.
Yeah. Hello again. Great. So strong heart. And so we're going to go over some things that don't lend to strong hearts, and then we'll talk more about things that do lend to strong hearts. So people that look at strong hearts or having good heart health, of course, we're looking at diet. So if you have a poor diet and lots of stress, of course, this is an environmental cause, which then leads us to people that have problems with their heart. That lends towards having high blood pressure, all the problems of eating the wrong things, causing the plaquing in the blood vessels, leading to the heart having to work a lot harder, and not getting the nutrients that they need to keep the heart strong, the muscle of the heart extra strong. So if the heart has to start working harder, the blood pressure can go up. Instead of a nice, strong heart that wrings itself out every time with a nice, strong, steady beat, it's pounding. It has to pound. It doesn't have the strength to do its normal good job, and that causes blood pressure to go up. Well, when of course you have blood pressure, high blood pressure, you're going to have to be on medications. Well, and unfortunately, the medications, of course, do not help the underlying cause of the problem. People are trying to force that blood pressure number down, the normal treatment, and so the medication then leads to enlarged heart with leaky valves. So as the medication makes the heart even weaker, because it's stopping the heart from making that pound, from trying to work so hard and have that blood pressure number up, well, then the heart starts to get lax, the muscles get lax, and it enlarges. Now, this is taking some time. This may take 10 years, 20 years, decades over time, but because the treatment, because the initial problem with the diet is bad and lots of stress, and then the treatment is not good with the blood pressure medications there's a whole bunch of other ones for rhythm and all that kind of stuff. Again, the medication is not a food. Now, again, don't get me wrong, medications are necessary for certain things. If you have an extremely high blood pressure, you have to get it under control, or we're looking at stroke issues. I understand that, but that's short term. Long term, we're looking at the underlying causes and how to help that. So with an enlarged heart, you get the weakness there, the valves are leaking, they don't work right, so they don't pump the fluid out of the lungs, they don't get peripheral circulation correct. The problems go along with that. That leads to congestive heart failure and breathing difficulties. So the congestive heart failure is one of the biggest side effects of long-term use of high blood pressure medication. Now, you won't see that very often because when they check the high blood pressure medication for the FDA, well, they haven't looked at it long enough to see that. They've only looked at it for the immediate ones. Of course, there's 2 pages of side effects for that. But if you around here long enough, you've been in practice now 38 years, so I've seen quite a few people with this, even my father, so on blood pressure medication for years, but ended up with congestive heart failure. And so that's, and by that time, within the heart seems so bad, you can't fix it. There's not, you just keep adding more drugs, but you're kind of whipping a tired horse there. So the congestive heart failure and the valves aren't working correctly, so then the heart can't keep the fluid pumped out of the lungs. And you get people with a little shortness of breath. That's what shortness of breath about. You just can't get any breath because your lungs are already full of water. So that then with all that fluid in the lungs, that leads to pneumonia and ... Well, you can imagine what the ... is. That's not a very good outcome. So that's what most people end up with at the end is pneumonia, and they didn't die of high blood pressure. They didn't die of the medications. They died of pneumonia. That's what's the thing. So it's another misleading thing. But they went through all these problems over lots of time. And again, when you're eating bad meals 3 times a day, and then you're under lots of stress, whatever the stress is, you can be, emotional stress, you can be stressed at work, family stress, whatever it is, stress, the body has to deal with it. And there's all kind of hormones at play, all kind of things that go along with this. So the idea then is to reverse that. If you want a strong heart, you need to reverse that. And so, so the health of the heart is a mirror to the health of the body. So if you're a person who has, you know, that are on medications for high blood pressure, arrhythmias, you know, statin drugs, all those things, you're missing the point that we got to do a lot with the whole health of the body. And by taking medications to force a number down, you're not helping the whole health. You're not looking at causes. You're looking at treatment. The treatment just goes on, and of course, the patient gets worse and worse, and will have more and more of the side effects that go on with that. So we're wanting to work that just the opposite way with what the nutritional work that we do here, nutrition response testing. I'm going to go over that a little bit more at the end of this presentation and kind of give my little spiel on that. But that's what we use to figure out what does that body need, and we also then help to get the diet straightened out so that that patient can start to build that heart. Now the good news is here, and it's fun too, is that the heart is one of the easiest organs to fix. It's just a big muscle, so you can fix the heart pretty easily with the right nutrition and getting off of all the junk and getting the stress under control. And we help patients with that every day. So it's something that can be done. It's fairly simple to do. And then we also work toward getting patients off medications when they don't need them anymore. So it's a different paradigm. It's a different way of looking at how heart health is. Heart health is not adding more drugs. Heart health is a heart actually working fine without the medications, with lots of energy, good circulation, good breathing ability, and that kind of thing. So that's enough of me for tonight. We'll head to Dr. Chip.
All right. So I'm going to be talking about the spine and how it pertains to a strong heart. So again, going over the nervous system and why it's important is that in order for the person to have a healthy, a wholesome body, the nervous system needs to be cooperating properly. Now that's the communication from the brain and spinal cord to the rest of the body. Now again, the nervous system is what controls and coordinates many of the other systems of the body. So again, the lungs, the kidney, the heart, the liver, spleen, all the other organs. But we'll go ahead, we'll talk about a little bit why the heart is very important too. So again, I said the nervous system as in the brain and spinal cord, and this is what we've been kind of hearing more and more, and this is what's been known for a long time. But this slide here says nervous systems question mark. Why I put that in there is that there's more and more research to finding out that there's actually a brain center, or there's a lot of neuronal connections in the heart. And so again, there are nerves that go from the spinal cord to the heart, so it does direct the heart and tell it what to do, but the heart can actually be independent of what the brain and spinal cord is telling it. And so that's why that's really important, is that you can have different thoughts, but if you're feeling a certain way, these different thoughts and feelings can be disconnected, and your brain and heart are not connected properly. And now you're struggling against your body, and your body's having different physical issues. And that's why your heart can start pounding too hard, or can start kind of malfunctioning. And so it's always good to have a good brain to heart coherence. And if you ever want to learn more about, well, if you want to learn more about that too, there's a great institute called the HeartMath Institute, and they explain more about the heart-brain coherence and how that's very important for your overall health and well-being. So again, talking about blood pressure, it is a good indicator to see how the heart is performing, but the kind of the neuronal aspect, or how the nervous system and how the brain and heart are connecting properly, is heart rate variability. Now you might be thinking, in English, doc, I'm not a rocket scientist. Well, it's not that hard to say. It's not that hard to say. It's actually just how your body or how your heart is adapting to certain stress in your life. And we had in the office a heart rate variability scan that we can do. It kind of shows how your body is able to adapt to certain stresses. And so, again, if you're not, if your heart rate variability is not well, it means that you can't adapt to certain stress. And over time, chronic stress leads to dis-ease of a body, be it that you start having chronic illnesses. Now, again, those stats say that 4 out of 10 people in the US have one chronic illness, and 6 out of 10 have 2 or more chronic illnesses. And so again, we want to kind of show you or let you know that the way that we're doing things with healthcare is not quite the right way to do it. We need to kind of switch our mindsets, our heart sets, and really see that we can change a lot of what we're doing and get back to a better health, holistic health. And again, the heart rate variability, again, is the adaptive response to the body from the environmental stresses. And so again, it's always important, and that the heart rate variability scans, it's showing is that your heart rate isn't not a constant thing. It can kind of adapt to certain things that in your environment. And so if you have a steady state heart rate that's never changing, that never does anything else, it actually shows that your heart's not able to adapt to certain things, and now you're leading yourself to more of a chronic issue or mortality. So I wanted to jump back to what we were talking about last time with love and gratitude, is that gratitude is a form of kind of a positive emotion, and how love and gratitude can be very beneficial for the heart. And so just expressing more love in your environment and your life can really help that heart rate variability, along with chiropractic. They both influence the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that has a lot of different functions for cognition, for planning action, awareness of your environment. It helps you to more adapt to your environment. And again, it's not the strongest that survives. It's the ones that are able to adapt the best are able to survive. So go ahead and, okay, practice. So again, practice this brain-heart coherence. Practice showing more love and gratitude for things, and it'll help you heal. It'll help you, have a better health. And so again, the heart has a mind of its own, and using more positive emotions, expressing more gratitude and love, appreciative for other things, maybe finding time day or night to write down 5 things that you're grateful for. These things aren't only good for just kind of figuring out what you are grateful for, but really it's a very healthy approach to keep that heart and brain coherence very well. So I think that is all for me today. I know it was short and sweet, but I hope you learned something, that the heart is very powerful, and that just being more positive, being more loving, being more grateful can really help you to be a healthier person. So I will turn it over to Eddie, and he'll cover the emotions.
All right, so lastly, I'm going to be talking a little bit about emotions. For first thing first, you probably know what I'm going to talk about first, and it's going to be unconditional love. You thought I was going to say subconscious mind. You're right. So the subconscious mind, we're kind of talking about, that's pretty much 99% of who you are. It's really everything that's this bottom of the iceberg, but up top, we're kind of thinking all the time. We're in this like awareness conscious mind, but everything around us, everything who we are, is lodged right in that subconscious mind. If we get it lodged in so deep, we can actually make it unconscious of who we are. If we unconsciously program things in our subconscious mind, we can have fun throughout the day. And if when it comes to the unconditional love, if we use that emotion so long and so ingrained, and we feel it for so much, then it can be ingrained, and it can make us unconsciously. We can just express it throughout our entire day without us even knowing it. So when we look at the subconscious mind, we got to understand that really everyone around us is essentially a mirror for ourselves. And it kind of is the byproduct of who it's coming at the present moment. So for instance, if we have things that's like, why does this keep happening to me? Why do we keep seeing the same people, or am I attracting the same people in my life? Well, the kind of thing is you're kind of doing it for yourself, to yourself, however you want to look at it. So if you have these things that are coming back into your life, you're actually using those emotions, and it's going to give it back to you. But the thing is, you got to be aware of what it's actually telling you. You can't just ask the question and say, why does this keep happening to me? Well, if you keep asking it, it's going to keep happening to you. So we got to be aware of it and try to feel what the subconscious mind is telling us through this. So a great quote that I found, just kind of talking more about energy, because when we kind of talk about ourselves, we look at each atom of the cells in our body, it's 99.99% energy. So if we look at a perception of what we are from an energy standpoint, that we can say that everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help to get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. So we are in a standpoint right now that we are able to calculate and kind of figure out that there's actually this energetic being, this life force around us. And we can kind of put that directly how it correlates with the subconscious mind. So if we kind of find out that the heart, we've been kind of talking about it with the strong heart, the heart is much more powerful than the brain. It is 100 times stronger electrically, and it's 5,000 times stronger magnetically. So if we have these things that we're very, very loving and grateful for, then we're going to attract much more of those things in our life. And that's going to, you don't know how it's going to happen, but the beautiful thing is it is going to happen, whether you like it or not. So if we kind of look at the different frequencies, remember, Albert Einstein said that last quote, and he's talking about quantum physics. And quantum physics is going out of the energy around the atom. And we got to look at it, there's a bunch of different frequencies. And really, when it comes to unconditional love, with Valentine's Day and everything, we got to understand that the emotions that we use, everything outside of us, is going to be a reflection of that. So if we go out inside and tell other people and we start judging them, well, you're essentially judging a part of yourself. That can go for forgiveness. If you don't forgive yourself for others, that's going to be going off of the standpoint of not unconditionally love others. That can go for trust. That can go for apathy. That can go for shame, guilt, blame. And the one that kind of gets everyone when it's kind of like a flip of a coin to a lot of this is fear. When fear comes into a lot of this, we can understand that we are bringing this fear into our life, picking out all the worst case scenarios that are coming up, and we're just going to keep continually to create with that. So if we kind of get rid of this, not only from others, but if we kind of get rid of the guilt from ourselves, if we trust ourselves for what we're doing with our lives, not giving us the blame game or the shame, and forgive us, forgive what we've done in the past, because once we forgive us, we're going to start loving ourselves much, much more. So like I said, everything is a mirror to you. And unconditional love is a great way of doing it, because when it comes to this, unconditional love is the only thing of who we are. And Dr. Chip pointed a little bit on this, but gratitude really goes in the same exact frequency as unconditional love. So what I'm going to give you guys tonight is a really good way to program that subconscious mind. Because once you program that subconscious mind over and over and over again, you will just completely just give things through your life, but you'll also be that person. And when you understand that, once you raise your vibration, once you raise all those negative emotions that you have in your subconscious mind, and you be so grateful for everything, and you start loving everything, things will just fall into place. For instance, if I say this quote going towards, I love and appreciate. So when we talk about the subconscious mind, it doesn't know if you're talking about, the future or the past or anything. All it knows is the present. So if I say, I love and appreciate that I'm the best motivational speaker there is, and if I said that a long time ago, then things in the past and things in my reality will start falling into place, and I won't know how they will happen. So for instance, if I say I love and appreciate that I am the best motivational speaker there is, then people will start saying like, hey, do you want to do talks at my health shops? or do you want to go to the YMCA and do things for me? That's going to happen. That's how life works. So if you start appreciating things and loving these things and you really feel it, then they will automatically come into your life. I guarantee it. So tonight we talked about 3 things, and they're all correlated with the strong heart. We talked about nutrition, the spine, and emotions, and how we can kind of get more of a holistic approach to making sure you get that strongest heart you possibly can. So up next, we're going to go back to Dr. Mark, and he's going to give you a little bit more on the Nutritional Health Shop.
Okay. Great. So just to go over nutrition response testing again, on the nutritional approach that we use at the office, we use a technique called nutrition response testing, and just a way for us to figure out embody in real time what it needs to be healthy on that plane. And we had some other good things tonight with the emotions and with the spinal care, which are also very important. And again, looking at a holistic approach, we want to look at all 3 approaches. But I'm going to work on the nutrition here. That's my bag. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So if you come to one of our health shops, you can sure come to the office here, and we have a bunch of handouts that we give to patients for that. So I'm just going to go over a few of those, kind of let you kind of know what we're up to with this. So there's a lot of myths and truths out there about nutrition. So we try to get patients to look at those and then try to teach them what are the truths so they can really get well, because a lot of people are following myths or not really facts or just lies or more advertising, that kind of stuff. So it gets them in all kind of trouble and makes them sick. So a couple of these, just for an example, is this one here, vegetarianism is healthy. Now that's the myth. The truth is the annual all-cause death rate of vegetarian men is slightly more than a non-vegetarian man, and the all-cause death rate of vegetarian women is significantly more than that of non-vegetarian women. Now, don't get me wrong, vegetables are great. And it's a thing, a lot of our patients come in, they don't eat vegetables. So just to give them on any kind of vegetables is a big thing. And vegetables are great for detox. They help to clean the body out. They're great for that. And people that go on a vegetarian diet are great for a couple of years. It does really good for them. Cleans them all out, gets everything cleaned out, all the cells and things clean. The problem is the vegetables don't always have the essential fatty acids, essential amino acids, proteins and fats that the body has to have from the diet. You can get it from vegetables and different grains and beans and seeds, but you have to really know what you're doing. So a lot of people that go past 2 years or so on vegetarian diets start to have dietary insufficiencies from other issues there. That's why there's a problem, and especially for women because of the oils, it affects women more that way. Another one here, to avoid heart disease, we should use margarine instead of butter. And of course, the truth is, margarine eaters have twice the rate of heart disease as butter eaters. Butter is a food. It's always been a food. It's been around for thousands of years. Margarine is a conglomeration of stuff that never really went to be in the body, and so it's just not good. But we've been led down this trail of saturated fats and cholesterol and that kind of thing, which again is another myth. There's some validation in it, but the whole principle is not right. Anyway, margarine is two chemical steps away from plastic. It's never meant to be in the body, so that's why your outcome there is not so good. And then there's another one here, myth, beef causes colon cancer. So the truth is Argentina with higher beef consumption has lower rates of colon cancer than U.S. Mormons, which have a lower rate of colon cancer than the vegetarian Seventh-day Adventists. So the thing about meat, and you see this in the news, I've seen a couple things even lately about meat is a problem, meat causes cancer. Well, it's not the meat, it's the body's ability to digest. Most people that I get a hold of them here have a liver that's toxic, that's overloaded, that's full, it's not working, it's not producing bile correctly. And so the body's not digesting the meats. If the meats get into the gut, the body can't digest them, well, they can blend towards all kinds of things. And that's a problem with people that have digestive problems. They really only absorb the carbs. They're easy to digest or absorb carbs. They don't digest fats, they don't digest proteins, they don't absorb minerals, they don't absorb calcium, that kind of thing. So their bodies really deteriorate when they don't digest. And people on proton pump inhibitors, that just makes it that much worse because you're stopping all digestion. So anyway, that's just some good little myths and things to go over there. Do you have the other slides? Okay, great, good. Okay. So we're going to go over that in just in a minute. Our health, what exactly is the problem? We're going to read this first couple of paragraphs. It's pretty revealing. We get drifted into this deplorable position of national malnutrition quite inadvertently. It is a result of scientific research with the objective of finding the best ways to create foods that are the non-perishable, that can be made by mass production methods in central factories and distributed so cheaply that they can sweep all local competition from the market. Again, competition in advertising and marketing. After there develops a suspicion that these quote-unquote foods are inadequate to support life, modern advertising steps in to propagandize the people believing there's nothing wrong with them, that they are the products of scientific research intended to produce a food that is the last predictor of the value, and the confused public is totally unable to arrive at any conclusion of fact and continues to blindly buy the rubbish that's killing them off years ahead of their time. This was written by Dr. Royal Lee. Dr. Royal Lee is the inventor of standard processed nutrition, the whole food nutrition supplements that we use in the office, written about 90 years ago. This is before all the fast food restaurants and the donut chains and the ice cream places and all that kind of thing. This is way before that, so you can imagine how much worse it is now than it was back in his day. He's an interesting guy. He was an engineer. He decided to become a dentist because they were having problems with all the kids having all these cavities, trying to figure out what was going on with that. And basically, they were finding out that it came from the introduction of white flour and white sugar back in the end of the 1800s there. So pretty interesting stuff. The quick little explanation of our diagram here. We have a basic triangle, and this is kind of a microcosm of the human body. But we're talking about organ dysfunction, disease, and nutritional deficiency on the three corners. So on a type of triangle like this, the more that one corner gets bigger, the more the other corners get bigger. So, and we're looking really here at degenerative type diseases, which takes on about 99% of all the diseases that humans have. For instance, heart disease, that's a degenerative disease of the cardiovascular system. Cancer is a degenerative disease of the immune system, those type of things. So all these type of diseases. So the idea, of course, is the more nutritional deficiency you have, the more organ dysfunction you have, the more disease you have. The body's craving the sugar, it's craving the energy, and it eats more of the wrong things. All that just becomes a big negative spiral. We want to stop that spiral. So how we do that? Well, a couple of things that I'll go over in our handouts. There's 146 reasons why sugar is ruining your health by Nancy Appleton, PhD. Basically, just a list of degenerative diseases. So it just goes right along with that. Sugar's many disguises. I think there's 62 names now, at least, for the types of sugar in processed foods or packaged foods. So if you look on the labels of your packaged foods, you'll see, you might not even see sugar, but there might be 3 or 4 or 5 other words there that are the same as sugar. And it's just what the FDA and all them guys allow for that to happen. The 3 tastes, the body has a taste for sugar, salt, and fats. That was kind of developed into us over the years for famine, so the body that we can survive a famine. So the problem is now, when there's not a famine, we still have those tastes, and the manufacturers know how to use that against us. So they make foods that are either high in sugar, high in salt, or high in fats, or high in all 3. They know how to actually work the amount to get you hooked on that food. Sugar is addictive. Sugar is white sugar is a drug. It works like as a drug in the body with an endorphin release. It raises the dopamine levels. That's the hook, and it makes you feel good there. So that's why it's 8 times, 7 times more addictive than cocaine, and people don't even realize that. And the trouble that really causes us is that you even go to the doctor, or you may even think yeah, I need to get off of this sugar. It's bad for me. And you just try to get off of it, and you just, pretty soon you break out in the sweat. You got to have some sugar. You know, it's just that kind of thing. People don't realize that. So we work with our patients a lot on trying to get them off of sugar, and it takes a while. It's not an easy thing to do. There's also a video you can watch on YouTube. It's called "Is Sugar Toxic?" It's by Dr. Robert Lustig, that's the guy that they interview. Dr. Robert Lustig, MD, has done a lot of research and has a lot of information. He has his own YouTube channel that can explain this in detail on the problems with white sugar there. So what we do in our office to help combat this, to help work on this nutritional deficiency corner, is our technique called nutrition response testing. And so that's a real easy way of testing the body in real time to figure out what nutritional needs that person has. Go to the next one. And sugar, of course, we put sugar up there. That would do the same thing. It makes that same triangle become a problem there. Go to the next one. Good. This nutrition response testing, again, is a way for us to do this. Now, the testing works with an arm strength test. And it's a way for us, again, to do this really quickly in the office. I'm going to have my son, Dr. Chip, come up, and we're going to demonstrate this real quickly. So we're just going to go right here on this side, and we're going to do an arm strength test. And have you hold the arm tight, and the arm is nice and strong. Good. So relax the arm. So the testing works on the principle of hypothermia. So if you go outside, you're going to go ice skating, and you fall into the lake and get back out, and you try to make it back to the house before you freeze to death. Well, the body will sacrifice the fingers and toes, the appendages, to keep the core alive. It wants to keep the brain alive, the heart, all the organs. So it keeps the core alive by sacrificing the appendages. So if we have, we're testing the arm, and the arm is strong, then I come to a part, maybe like the heart, I irritate the sympathetic nervous system over the heart, and the arm goes unlocked. It means that that heart is not as strong as the body would like it. It's having some problems. We don't always know what it is. We just know we can use nutrition to help heal it. So then if I have a bottle of nutrition that I know, this one's called Cardio Plus, that helps the heart, we're using these energies, the energies that Eddie talked about there, that the body's 99.999% energy. Again, medical people don't look at energy, they look at the tissue, which is okay, but again, you miss a lot of the body's issues. So if we check that arm again and put this nutrition on the body's energy field and irritate that heart area again, and the arm goes strong, we would know that this nutrition will help that problem. That's how we figure this out. And it's just as simple as that. The arm strength test is not voodoo, it's not magic, it's just this reflex we know on hypothermia, and we know how to figure out which nutritions go along with which parts we need to work on. And again, strong heart, what we're off after tonight. And that's how we fix these problems. Get that heart strengthened up, you can go off the blood pressure medication, you can go off the arrhythmia stuff, you can go off the statins to get your diet figured out. All these kind of things that have pages and pages of side effects. And we see this all the time. And we really want to try to work in our office on a holistic care to get people away from all this agony of the bad problems they have, the weakness they have. I mean, I know one person particularly in my relative circle that has issues, and just, you just can't do things you want to do because the heart's not as strong as it needs to be. So good. Thank you very much. Good job. So great. Okay. So, and then when we do our approach, we're designing a clinical nutritional approach for that person. Designing it's very personal. Everybody has their own needs, and that can come from their background of eating, their genetic makeup, what's going on in there. Clinical means we don't care what it is, as long as it works, as long as our monitoring systems, our numbers come up, we know that the body's getting well. So we work with, even some people bring in their own nutrition, their own vitamins they're taking, and if we test them and they work fine, that's great. Most of them don't, but some do. So we usually a lot of times even help people reduce the money they spend on vitamins, because we get them to take the ones that actually work, and so they actually get better. And in nutrition, we're using whole food nutrition here. We're using food, not vitamins, not synthetic vitamins, not synthetic coal tar stuff. We're actually using food to help heal the body. So a few more of the handouts. We have some testimonials from patients, some fun stories to read through, more information on nutrition response testing. We do use blood tests in the office. We don't get them ourselves, but we use the ones that patients have. So like this one is one on the vitamin D level that we increased without giving them vitamin D. We just got them to digest and eat well, and so the vitamin D levels came up. The A1C, we got that fixed there just by changing diet and nutrition. And again, it's easier said than done. It takes work to do this. You can't just like for instance on the emotional side there, you can try to do things, but there's a limitation of matter. If you're eating donuts all day, you can do anything you want. You can think anything you want to get the numbers down, but you can't. You got to quit eating the donuts. So it's kind of a thing there. There's limitations of matter. So there's energy and there's matter. We got to work on both. We do have a patient education workshop screening form that patients that people that come to our health shops here can get a free test. So if you're interested in that, come to one of our classes. There's lots of room, and we can do a quick little analysis on you and see if you are a nutrition response testing patient. Because if you are, that's really the only thing that's going to help you. And we can also find too if you're not a nutrition response testing patient, because then we will not find a reflex on you. There's a lot of books we can give patients to look at. There's a lot of websites that go along with this information. The WestonAPrice.org is a really good website with a lot of organic growing and eating information on it. Lots of other things. There's a lot of videos. We have a video list here that just some good explanations. These are on YouTube or Netflix. They're free. And you can go on, if you go into Netflix, there's quite a few good videos in there that look at the problems in our nation's food supply. Again, not blaming anybody, it's just that that's what we're getting, so it's not good. We have a list of the new childhood in America because the kids are getting sick. 1 in 3 is overweight. There's the asthma is getting worse. The ADHD and ADD is, of course, a lot worse. You hadn't even heard these words, decades ago. Seizures and cause to autism. Autism has gotten it's just crazy. So, and there's lots of reasons for that. So, good. The next slide. So in our office, we're looking at overall health, as you can tell. We're looking at the health of the body and in a holistic approach, not just one part. So the heart we're talking about tonight, but yes, we want all the body to be well, not just the heart. The heart is a mirror of the body, so it's a good place to start, but we got to get everything else working correctly too. And our normal program is to do detox, to get the digestion back on track, and then again, clean the body up, and then get the body digesting the food that you eat. Then you don't need very many supplements if you digest good food. So that's there. And what we're doing here is safe and natural. Again, we're just using foods in a nutritional approach. So and it's all just natural things. So it's what the body was supposed to have. It's what it's supposed to have to heal. And so a good example of that, when you have a cut on your finger, it takes a week to 2 weeks for that to heal. So the body has the innate intelligence to heal itself up. Well, if you're having heart issues, like high blood pressure or something like that, then for some reason, you're not getting the nutrition or whatever it is to get that heart to heal. You're taking medication to force the number down, but you're not getting to underlying causes. And that's what we do here, is give the body what it needs to heal itself, just like that cut. So that the body has the intelligence to do that. Then the last handout I'll go over is our diet recommendation handout. As you can tell, we're kind of trying to stay away from refined flours and sugars, trying to get the body actual food to eat. We also have our basic diet program is doing proteins in the morning, salads for lunch, and protein vegetable for evening. That's what it is. There's no carb counting particularly. There's no amounts of food to eat. It's just a real simple program. It's easy for patients to do, but it takes time to get there, and we help the patients be able to get off of sugars and off whatever else they got, even off medications if we can, doing all those kind of things. So I think that's enough of me on this time. We really appreciate everybody listening. I'm going to turn it back over to Eddie to kind of finish up tonight. Again, thanks for tuning in, and come by and say hi. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in tonight. Our next health shop is going to be yet again about the heart. We got some great technology here at Natural Health called the Heart Sound Recorder. This is going over more of the nutrition of the body, like Dr. Mark said tonight. The heart is a mirror of the body. And the technology that's here now is we can find out from this Heart Sound Recorder of where those nutritional deficiencies are on the different valves of the heart. And it's pretty remarkable what we can find. So once you come here, we can get you a free health check. We can get you some HRV screening as well as some health coaching session, all for free, because we want to give you the love that we want you to receive and also do the same for others around us. Yet again, we're coming back to our social media page. We really want to hear your feedback. If you want to give us feedback about how our health shops are doing, how our social media posts are going, just let us know, because we want to improve as much as we can, so making sure you can give as much information that can help you through your long run. So we are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're at Natural Health Quincy IL, and we're also on YouTube and Brighteon and Natural Health Quincy. You can also always come here and call us to schedule an appointment with Dr. Chip, Dr. Mark, and I. at 217-228-2040, and we are located at 2000 Jefferson in Quincy, Illinois. So I just want to appreciate and thank you so much for being here tonight, and I love you guys as much as I can, so thank you. Bye.